ago, the earth was formed in the hard sun was born to spool up the cosmos in a realm might, magic, and I adventure supreme. Let me tell the tale of a lone rider who is being hunted down. Her cargo is the key to her freedom and damnation. She blazes a trail across a foreign land and hopes the choose her pursuers this the labyrinth as the dragon pass. The ripple effect of this moment cascades into a chain of events that go throughout the lives of all the realm. Especially a teenage boy named Ito.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creative Native Podcast. Well, not podcast, but yeah, it is what it is. Today, I'm just doing an open call to anybody that's out in CG that wants to come on and show their project. So if you hop onto the stream, you're in the chat, you got an upcoming project or a live project, feel free to hit me up. I'll put you on. I'll hit you up in Twitter, send you the link. You can come on, show your stuff. Speaking of shilling. Might as well show my stuff here. All right. And right now I have the mailing list open for Caius, A Story of Blood and Stone, issue 1 and 2. You'll be able to hop in on this. And when you sign up for the mailing list, it'll give you access to the secret tier that is only available to those who sign up to the mailing list on launch day. What this does, you'll be able to get the previous secret tier that I did in issue 1. As well as getting the secret tier of issue 2. So cool little bundle going on there. And if anybody wants to have a quick read, you can also hop over to this is a link in the description. This is a 16-page preview of issue 1. This is over on Clip Studio Share. So if you click on the link, it'll bring you to this. And yeah, it's literally just like, reading a comic book. And there it is. So you get a free 16-page preview of the first issue. Let's wait for those to load up there. There it is. And yeah, you can check it out there. Bring that back. Got that. And yeah, anybody wants to hop on, just give me a heads up and I will be more than glad to send you the link. But other than that, I'm going to be drawing today. I got some tattoo work that I got to finish up. I have a piece that I'll bring up here in a second. I got this Wolverine versus Sabretooth piece. That I got to work on, and this is going to be a full leg wrap tattoo. So the original plan, what's going on, Mo Biggs? My sketchbook was shaking. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, the plan with this tattoo originally was to kind of have it like an amalgamation of like different levels of Wolverine. But as we talked more over it, he wanted it to just be like one giant like piece consuming the whole leg. So and it gets kind of tricky too when you're doing a battle scene specifically for a tattoo. Doing great. It's good to hear, Mo Biggs. Now as comic book readers, we have like a language that we already understand. Oh, you're freezing. Oh, that's horrible to hear, man. Sorry to hear that, sketchbook. I take it you're in the current polar vortex that is consuming everyone right now. It's not too bad where I am. I'm on the West Coast up here in Vancouver. It's cold, but nothing compared to what everyone else is dealing with right now. But yeah, back to what I was quickly mentioning here. So as comic book readers, we have an innate sense of like when a battle goes on, we know how things are positioned. But when you have people that don't have that language and they want to have a battle scene, it's easier to explain if I show my face. So usually you have, character either here or another character here, and you have that juxtaposition of someone in the foreground, someone in the background. But when you're talking to people about, a battle, they're usually thinking of it like this. And for a tattoo, that, it kind of kills the piece and the theme, makes it a very static looking tattoo. Not that it can't be done, but they usually want to try to have both people have prominence in the battle scene, but they also want them both outward facing. So when you do that, you kind of lose the actual interaction. So the solution that I came up with this is to have them like that. So it's like Wolvie coming in, smashing, Sabretooth reeling. And there's also a couple tricks that I have to do with this. Now having the hand, I'll bring this up here. Let's do it in green. Add another layer. There we go. And B. There we go. So having like that hand right there, the way that I'm able to draw it is depending on how it wraps around the leg, because this is the knee here. So this part of the body is going to be wrapping around and behind the leg, and this stuff is going to be wrapping in and around behind that way. You got to kind of plan it out. So there are some things that you can adjust on the fly, because this part of his body might overlap with this part of the body. So just having it so I can remove this and adjust the size and scale a little bit. That also gives me a little bit of freedom as to how I'm going to position it when we actually go to tattoo it on him. Out in Texas, oh yeah, everybody's getting nailed right now. I'm just going to clear these out here. I got so many sketch layers. Now, for those of you out there that don't know, I've been a tattoo artist for 20 plus years. I took a couple of years off to go into animation, learned a couple things out there, and then came back into tattooing. All of this is to lead into comic books. Just because it's a flexible job that pays well, that can allow me to have the time and the freedom to make the comic books that I want to make. And as we all know, working a regular job on the other side, like it's a grind when you have to balance it out and you get next to no sleep. So this is a way that I can still be creative, still work on my craft, still hone on things that I want to do, still to stay in contact with a bunch of people and clients, and also be able to like partition out time where I can actually work on the projects that I need to work on. And that would be obviously Caius issue 2 coming up. And right now I'm just working on the animation for that, for the trailer, and coming up about halfway to the halfway mark on the trailer for the line work. So yeah, things are putting along on that really good. So, and hopefully a couple people want to pop in here. This is an open chill and shill stream. So if anybody's out there that wants to come on, hang out, promote your book, I'm going to be on for the next 2 hours. So as long as you have a CG Indiegogo campaign that's either live, active, in demand, or upcoming that is part of a mailing list, feel free to pop on, and I will throw you a link via Twitter. But until then, it'll just be the sweet dulcet tones of me scrolling away here. I'm just going to throw all these into a layer or into a folder here. Tone this down. There we go. Yeah, and this is like the photo of the person's leg. Now their leg is also very thin, so that also factors into how I'm going to lay it out. Now, one of the downsides is usually I would have them come into the studio so I could take proper measurements, almost just like a tailor. I'd get the measurements for, how many inches it around that way, how many inches it is that way, how many inches around there, and also around the calf, because every now and then you have somebody that just has the front. What is your Twitter, Ryan? I don't think I have it. Twitter is the same. It's the Ryan Cardinal. same logo, same everything. So, but yeah, as I was saying, some people, even though they have like, it looks like thinner legs, but sometimes the back of their calves are just like monstrous. They just like jut out backwards. So, so little things like that. With COVID and all this kind of stuff, it's kind of unfortunate that not everybody can come into the studio, and doing online consultations is a little tricky because you lose that ability to communicate one-on-one where you can actually see and show somebody. It works pretty good for the most part, but there are factors when you are getting into the tattoo that for me personally, I need to actually see the person in order to get a better idea of how the stuff is going to fit. Like I have a client coming up in the future, and they want something on the ribs, and they're trying to get a price quote from me. But until I actually put the stencil on them, I'm not going to be able to give them a proper price quote because the side of the ribs actually stretches when you tattoo them. So you may have a tattoo that when you put it on them is, 5 inches, but 5 inches. But when you go to tattoo them and they stretch their arm out, that 5-inch tattoo now turns into like an 8-inch or possibly even like 10-inch tattoo. I've seen tattoos where the stencil just stretches well beyond the initial stencil just because of the area on the body. Lower back's kind of like that too. And when that happens, you're just simply working on a bigger piece of canvas, and that piece that you just quoted, for whatever time that you quoted, literally has just doubled, sometimes even tripled, just because of the space and the volume you have to work on. Thanks for the follow there, Sketchbook. I'll give you a follow back there. But other than freezing, I hope everybody is keeping safe out there, keeping as warm as you can. Let's see. You have to see the canvas before you design based on their available canvas. Yeah, it usually works out best that way. But obviously with COVID, there's only so much I can do. A lot of online consultations. For the most part, it works out, but for certain pieces like this where it has to be like a full wrap encompassing the leg and other things too, is like even when we're done tattooing it, there's going to be potential spaces that are left over. So I'm going to have to figure out how to do that either on the fly, but that's no real big issue. That can just be easily handled with potentially like blast marks or debris. I'll probably just end up doing like debris and stuff like that. Yeah, no problem there, Sketchbook. But yeah, thankfully, things where I am at, they haven't shut us down completely for a lot of things. They pull back on a lot of stuff. Apparently, our numbers have been the lowest in months. So hopefully that trend keeps going. And apparently, I did see recently. Let's see what we got. Mo Biggs here. If Bancroft or Rob wanted a forehead piece, you'd have a lot of room to work with. Well, I personally don't tattoo anybody's face. I got kind of like a specific area where I don't go. I won't do palms or bottoms of the feet, won't do genitalia, and I won't tattoo anybody's face. But I will come up to like the back of the ear, wherever the hairline is, and under the jaw. And that's as close as I'll come to tattooing anybody's face. And it's not that people have, not requested it. I've had tons of people ask for some like crazy wild stuff. And it's just like, yeah, I don't think I'm the right artist for you on that piece. Good luck, And for everybody else that comes on here too, just so you know, this is not a PG stream. Things tend to, they will go into the realm of weird because when you're talking about tattoos, it just happens. I'm just going to start sketching here. Yeah, like there's this time ages and ages ago. This was when this is my second year of tattooing. Still fairly green with everything. And this guy comes in, and where I used to work was a very, very much a summer town, you know, everywhere surrounding area, they come in with their boats, you know, all their toys for the summer, and then they leave as soon as September happens. I don't like that fist at all. Oh, sketchbook here. Too bad I'd have to pay for Dillard to get a tramp stamp in my sketchbook. Man, I've done many of those back in my day. Paid the bills. But yeah, this dude comes in and he's shorter than me. Maybe about like, you know, 5'5", wearing a white denim sailor suit. That's the only way I could express it, with a blue neckerchief, a hat. Was it a beret? I can't remember if it was a beret or not, but I remember it was at a slight rakish angle, and is ginger as ginger can be, and a very, very, very groomed mustache and goatee. And he comes up to me and starts asking me about getting a tattoo. But the thing is, he also had, I believe he had a hair lip and a lisp simultaneously. So that combo took me by surprise. But, you know, you got to be professional and, you know, treat everybody exactly the same. So he comes up and he asks me about getting a mermaid. And I'm like, all right, I can do a mermaid on you. And then he goes like, yeah, but I want it to be a man. I was like, okay. He's like, yeah, I want a merman. And I'm like, oh, all right. Yep. Yeah, no problem. Well, you know, it's easy enough to convert one of our mermaids into a man. But then he comes out with like the left and the right hook. And so he goes, there, I'll get back onto my screen here. It's a little easier to explain. So he goes, but I want a merman on me. And he goes like, I want it kind of like down here. And he basically goes to where his underwear line, you know, where the V goes into. And like, I've tattooed people in that area before. So I'm just like, yeah, that's no big deal. No big issue. And then he fucking lays out his trump card on me and he goes, yeah, but then I want the tail of the merman to wrap around the shaft of my cock, and then the tail fin to be on the head of my penis. And I'm just like, nope, I'm out, man. Like, not doing that. And then he goes, well, is there anywhere that will do that? And as a tattoo shop, you send each other clients, you know, as jokes to each other. Because I know for a fact there's nobody in town, at least the town I was at that point in time, that would have done that. So we were a biker shop. So we're like, yeah, go to this other shop over here. And go ask the main artist there. He should help you. By the way, that was also another biker shop, and there's no way in hell that they were going to do it. But it's just the entertainment factor of sending the client over. So yeah, just little stories like that. Let's see what we got here. I'll be back. Need to take a Sketchbook Pro tutorial. Oh yeah. Do it up. Let's get back to Wolverine here. Yeah, there were tons and tons of stuff like that. Also had this one lady come in. This one was super weird. Like, funny enough, the guy asking for a merman around his wang, not that weird. This one was like, I think I might need to call like the police or child services for this one. And what this was is I had, now, let's see. If you agree to that, the next question is, how much for a happy ending? Oh, dude, you ain't having no kind of boner when somebody's dragging a needle across your dick, man. I don't care how into it you are. Soon as that touches, it deflates like a balloon. Buddy of mine, Nando, he's a tattoo artist in Vegas. He's tattooed dinks before, and I'm just like, what the hell, man? Like, how do you do it? And I was like, I'm never going to do it, but just like what goes on, like, and so here, I'll bring myself back up here because this is ridiculous. So he gives me the lowdown on how you do it. So he goes like, all right. And he's like, it doesn't matter who they are. Like, he's like, I've tattooed people that were quote unquote into it. Yeah. As soon as you start, they're not into it. So you got to grab it by the head, turn it over. So you knuckle it across, and then you start tattooing it. And yeah, he's like, yeah, everyone I've tattooed is passed out. I don't know. Some dudes like smashing their dicks in doors. Yeah, it's they might like that, but they might not like having stabbing sensations into their wang over a period of time. And then again, that you do you, but you don't have enough money for me to do that to you, and that's just the way that is. Yeah, and especially now, the way that things are too, like, you got to be super careful, because like you'll still have lots of girls coming in getting tons of work done, and you just got to be like straight up, just like, yo, like, I'm gonna be tattooing you. There's gonna be spots that are suck, like they're just gonna be horrible, and where you're getting tattooed, I can't tattoo you unless literally my arms or hands are in certain places. Like, there's just no way around it. And so, yeah, got to be super careful these days, because end up in the clink for doing your job. And, even though you've done everything by the book, textbook, who your clients are, have you worked on them before? Are they even ready for that type of piece? And man, I've over the years I've worked on tons of people that, oh, this is my first tattoo. And it's just like, what are you doing getting this thing on your ribs? This is going to be murder for you. And they're like, oh, I thought it would look cool. And it's like, yeah, that's fine. But like, you have no baseline. Like, this is going to be hell for both of us, because I know for a fact, chances are you're going to be jumping around all over the place. I won't say it's every time, but it is a fair chunk of the time. I've been wrong a couple times, and I won't deny that. I've had people sit like a rock out of the blue. More times than not, it's usually girls that are sitting like a champ. More times than not, it's usually the very, very muscular, muscle-bound people that have a tendency to squirm all over the place and make the job a little bit of a living hell. Just going to take a quick look here. Also, a heads up to anyone out there. I don't have the link on me right now, but I do have a brush set available from Graphicsly, and Graphicsly is one of the companies that is kind of spearheading Clip Studio Paint. I think they're like working in partner with them right now, and they got a hold of me a while ago to do a bunch of brush sets for them. So I got a brush set available on the Graphicsly site. It's 100 brushes ranging from, let's see, what do I got here? I just want to see if I have any of them loaded up. Let's see. Let's see. Flip that around. Let's go black. And we'll do that white back up here. Yeah, so see, these are some of the crowd brushes. Just standard stuff to quickly blast a crowd on there. Really good for storyboards and stuff like that if you need like a crowd scene. I think this is a crowd of them running. Takes a while to load up just because the brushes are, there's a lot to the brushes. So, and with stuff like this too, you can just lay it out, set your layer down, your opacity, and then draw your characters over top of it. It's just a nice, quick way to do layout of crowds. Kind of streamline the process. And what's it? And this is some of the foliage brushes that I did up. And I'll be using definitely a couple of these brushes in Caius because the next part of the story takes place in like a jungle, so there's lots of foliage. And then you just go in and clean stuff up. Add, move, subtract. You know. This one. I've done so many of these that I've forgotten which one's which. Oh yeah, these are just like big jungle type leaves. Yeah, tons and tons of fun stuff in there. And that's over on the Graphic Sleeve website. The cool thing with them is that they got lots of different artists that are coming by and doing different things, lots of tutorials. So if anybody is using Clip Studio Paint, definitely check out the Graphic Sleeve website. It's a great place for resources and tips and tricks. And it's the cool thing is too is that they're bringing in lots of different peoples. They brought in lots of I think Spanish and Brazilian people. So even though you may not speak it, you as an artist, you'll be able to pick up on what they're doing and what they're talking about. Is there a hand brush? Funny enough, yeah, there are hand brushes, man. Hey, Bancroft, how's it going, man? I believe Tyler from Draw and Talk actually posted something the other day specifically on the Clip Studio asset brush or the asset library, and they literally had hands and feet that they were promoting of a pre-drawn hands and feet. So ain't no ginger hand though. Yo, Catker Studios, how's it going? Yeah, there's a couple cool things in Clip Studio on the paid section. They actually, I do believe, have just like straight up 3D hand models that work in conjunction with the pre-posed hands. I haven't bought any of them yet, but it's one of those things that's just quite literally super handy. Or there is another website out there if you are on Android or Apple called Handy, and it's literally just a hand 3D app with all these different preset poses for male hand, female hands. They also have it for heads, different lighting. So super, super awesome if you just want to quickly, have different hand positions from different angles. Are there orangutan brushes? Here, let me find out. Find out if there's some orangutan. Go to the asset library. That's hilarious. Who needs to learn how to draw it? Oh, this is the thing though, is no matter what, if you draw over top of it, it's still your thing. Let's see if we got orangutan. 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 See if anything comes up. Nothing new. Nothing in published. Nothing in popular. So unfortunately, no orangutan. See if we got monkey though. We got opposable chimp. And I believe is this a free one? Yeah, let's download it. Oh, I gotta log in. Boop. And assets. Give me my monkey. It's going good. Oh, right on. Finally, Bancroft is jumping on the Comic Blast Express. Well, you got to keep in mind, Clip Studio Paint was designed for manga creators in mind. And if you know a lot about manga, there is a lot of preset stuff A lot of the backgrounds are pre-drawn, pre-done, just to speed up the overall production. There's a monkey. All right. Hey, it is free. Okay. Let's download this monkey and see what's up. I'll take a second or two. Bring up my brush library here. Hey, Tank with Chicken Man. C4 chimp gets blown up in the first scene. AR-15 orangutan, always in control. Let's see here. Materials, there he is. Let's bring this chimp in. All right. Get my camera set. All right, camera, no perspective. Let's shrink him down a little bit. Let's go like that. Let's see, adjust our lighting a little bit. Give him a shadow, take the shadow away. And now let's see if we can put the pre poses onto him. I don't know if we can or can't. 3D pose. Let's see if we can put a running pose onto him or not. No, we can't. Okay, so this monkey you'd have to pose individually. Yeah, seems that way. So yeah, there we go. Woo-ah! Now, does he have bubble posing? Not so much. Some of the characters in Clip Studio, you can double click it and it'll give you kind of like this ball, and that ball you can kind of use to pull the character, and it'll kind of adjust the entire weight, which is cool. Yo, Shadowhawk, what's going on? Let's see. I went into the jungle of Borneo and hung out with wild orangutans. One of them swung down and stole the hat right off my head. Oh, that's awesome. A buddy of mine was, how can I put this? Raised by orangutans for a short period of his life. Michael Bancroft, this is your way of asking for a drawing cameo to discuss with my artist. Yeah, a buddy of mine, he his family used to like travel around with some kind of like circus way back in the day, or some traveling carnival show. And apparently they used to get really high on LSD and go canoeing out in the ocean while they lived in Florida. And they would leave my buddy and his sister alone with the orangutans while they were tripping balls on acid for like hours and hours out in the ocean. But yeah, everything turned out fine. Yeah, if I get my buddy on here in the future, he's got some pretty interesting stories to tell. Like the orangutan one is always one of the ones where I'm just like, what? And he didn't even know that this happened. And it wasn't until one day, one of his friends grabbed him in a headlock and started kind of just going through his hair. And at this time, he had like big dreadlocks. And when he was a kid, he also had dreadlocks. And it brought back this like suppressed memory of this like orangutan doing the exact same thing. And then it just all came like, you know, pouring out. And he was like, what the hell? Was that real? Is that a thing? Did that happen? So obviously phone calls ensued from there to figure out if it was real or not. And yeah, it happened. Similar to Poser. Yeah, this is just right in the Clip Studio. Like you can just literally drag and drop characters right into it. You know, pick your angle. Also has a couple cool different things that you can do here. Let's pull this down. So you have two different types of perspective here. Let's bring this character more like this, drag it up. So you have your perspective that you can push and pull. So if you want more dynamic range of your character in that same pose, rather than it just being kind of flat and static. This is one of the things that I find that a lot of people that use 3D objects in their scenes, they actually don't know how to use a camera. They're literally thinking of everything at human eye level. That's why all this current stuff looks so dead. You can go in there, you can mess with the perspective on it, and then you can drag the character up, down, and around. You know, gives it a different dynamic. You can also grab the character, you know, twist them to get them how you want for the shot. Tons and tons of fun stuff. And there's also a different level of perspective on here. I believe it should be down here. There it is. So then you got manga perspective. And then what this one does is, I do believe, yeah, it will kind of pick something that is in the most foreground and it'll really push out that thing. So it's, you know, really coming at you. As where the other perspective kind of just deals with the overall body. This one kind of almost puts like a little bit of a fisheye lens onto it, you know? Stuck at work, Shadowhawk. Orangutans are cool. Chimps, not so much. Yeah, chimps, once they reach that certain age, and you know, like we've all seen the videos, man. Like, yeah, nobody wants their face eaten off. But since we're talking about hands, you can actually click on the hand here individually. Go back up here, and in Clip Studio, it has this little triangle here, and what it goes from is the bottom is a closed fist, open hand, and then kind of like just like a 5-finger. So if we do this, we can just kind of rotate, and it'll roll through the different types of hand gestures, and then you can actually go in and lock, you know, individual digits and adjust it how, you know, how you want, unlock it. So then the thumb's locked in. Let's lock that. Is this do what I want to? Oh, there's the bottom two. There we go. Bing! Let's see, Cacto Studios. I never really played around with much of 3 stuff, but now I'm playing to get an idea of a pose. Yeah, well, that's one of the awesome things with Clip Studio Paint is with the asset library and just even the mannequins and stuff that it comes with, you can get close to a pose that you want. You can draw over top of it. If it's not working, you know, you can adjust the camera, the angle, bring it back up here. Let's cut down this perspective a little bit so you can see the character. And then you can, you know, say the hand is not in the right position. You can click on it, use the scroll wheel. There we go. And then you can like simply roll, rotate. I use the hand feature on this quite a bit. Like I'll give myself maybe about like between, you know, 5 tries of drawing a hand a certain way. And if it's not working, I'll just come in, position a hand how I need it, draw over top of it, like just a quick gesture. And then I'll take that and clean that up. It just saves me time. Because as you know, and I know, hands are very tricky. Certain angles are tough. And I don't want to be wasting a crap ton of time sitting there drawing it over and over again because, quote unquote, I need to have it my way. It's like, no, this is a hand. It needs to be drawn. get this thing out of the way. So yeah, super cool. And also for animation too, it's super handy for doing out keyframes, getting character poses. I really like using it for, let's see, what's this one? Okay. If characters are standing around and you need your character sheet, let me see if I can just drag just a regular standard model in. Let's get rid of this guy here. Boop. How about this? Okay, so there's like standard character. Let's shrink her down a little bit. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's see, Shadowhawk, 14th birthday, bye-bye face. Michael Bancroft, I think I've got Cletus Odd Accent Paint, grown-up version of Tobias. International Drainage Commission. What? I have no idea what that is. I'll take your word for it. Sounded like Kiwi, but South African parents who grew up in Australia. Yes, that's Tobias. Oh, okay. So you say you have your character here. Let's open this up. And in the newer model of Clip Studio Paint, this is the new type of model. You can actually come in here and adjust the body weight. You know, Or if you want to go in, you can go in and adjust the individual aspects. So I actually use this to make a quick Cyberfrog model. Brought him one of Ethan's shots where it's one where he's fist bumping Salamandroid, because it's literally just Cyberfrog standing there. And I'm able to tweak these around enough to get a fake version of Cyberfrog. And then once you save that, then you can just throw in all these different poses and adjust it as need be. So, just helps really streamline that process. Or say you want to make monsters or something like that, you just, just draw those arms that's super long, super thin. And then once you have your characters set up, you can save them exactly how you want them. ET that neck out a little bit there. Get some gray alien going on. And thin out that torso. So yeah, absolutely fantastic tool for everyone to use and utilize. And if you want to get deep into it, there is the Clip Studio Modeler, where you can actually start texturing pre-made models. So if you know anything about Blender, 3D models, stuff like that, you can bring stuff into there, texture it, and then just bring it over. And in the modeler, you can add all these bones that are pre-registered and save all these poses and transfer those directly over top to your drawing and stuff. So a lot of fun stuff. Let's see. Background, that'd be perfect for me. Those arms remind me of iconic fight scene in the Lucian. Yeah, I find that a lot of people aren't really diving into Clip Studio and like what it has to offer. Because as we all know, we all get into the groove of how we draw stuff, and we're very much in our ways. But that's one of the reasons why I actually chose Clip Studio and started walking away from Photoshop. That and the way that it feels when you draw on it, to me anyways, I notice a big difference in the actual physical sensation of drawing a line in here and drawing a line in Photoshop. Photoshop has always felt greasy, if that makes sense, when trying to do line work. And in here, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, what secret sauce they use, but for whatever it is, it feels more like drawing in here, if that makes sense. Let's see. People don't want to sink more time into learning Clip Studio with the Comic Class Revolution on the horizon. How true it is. How true it is. Man, I wonder if that is going to take off. It wouldn't surprise me if it did. Would not surprise me in the least. Michael Bancroft. Yeah, Photoshop is a photo editing tool that you can draw on in. Clip Studio is a drawing program. Exactly. Yeah, when I was working for this one animation company, we ended up doing some kind of like government project comic book thing. And I asked them, I was like, oh, is it cool if, the company could buy Clip Studio Paint? It's like dirt cheap. And they're like, yeah. The company will buy any software program you need to do the job. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So they end up buying it was like a handful of licenses for everybody. And then the two people that I worked with, one guy's been in animation for, I think, like 35 years at that point in time. And he slowly made the switch over to it. And I was working with another guy who's doing advertising storyboards for, I think, like 15, almost 20 years. And he's been like a devout Photoshop guy for years and years and years. And quite literally, the second he went to go make his first line like that in Clip Studio, he stopped and was like, whoa, that's a huge difference. And I was like, yeah, like you can feel it, right? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but it doesn't feel like wiggly or loose. And he's like, yeah, it feels like the line that I want to draw with a pencil. Let's see, Cactus Studios. Yep, I really love Clip Studio, even animated on it. Yeah. I'm doing some animation right now for the upcoming trailer for Caius issue 2. I'm an idiot doing full animation especially when I don't know how to animate. But it'll work out. It'll work out. It took a while though. There's a couple things with it when they brought the animation out originally. There wasn't audio, so you couldn't sync up audio to it, but they fixed that now, which is good. I had a couple different ways of working around that in the past when I was trying to learn it, but now that I'm doing this particular project, I'm taking a really big stab into learning how to use it more properly with all the proper tweening and all that kind of stuff. So let's see, Bancroft. Wait until Elon Musk buys Comic Blast. His AI is cutting edge. Man, he's just going to put it in a Neuralink and put it straight in our brains. We'll be able to make all the comic books, exactly how we want. Yo, Corey Barton, what's shaking, man? What's a good word? Mo Biggs, I wanted to see how much Comic Blast goes for because I considered getting into doing video reviewing, but it doesn't seem to actually be out. Yeah, I wonder if they pulled it back afterwards, after they got ratioed to hell. Who knows? Let's see, Catgirl Studio. When I went to college for animation. Oh, you went to college for animation. Okay. So I know all about the animating, making a comic with some animation added into it. Oh, cool. Yeah, one of the other programs I think a lot of people are sleeping on is everything that they're doing with Blender right now. Blender is getting crazy. Especially since they added their grease pencil feature. So now you can actually properly utilize it as a full 2D and 3D animation software. There's, if anybody follows any kind of storyboarding stuff, there's a guy out there called Spitfire Storyboards, and he's on YouTube here. And he does a really, really awesome breakdown of how he uses Blender to do his storyboards. Which is super awesome because then you can literally just put these 2D characters, literal starfish, but it's on a 3D plane in, 3D space that you can position where you need to be. And the way that he utilizes it, it's just so efficient for doing storyboards, which can, come in handy down the road. Especially if you got spots where you have a lot of action going on and you need to kind of make a previs map on where stuff is, where things are going. Because that's something that we had to do quite a few times in animation is you have to make a complete map of the area because you have to kind of time stuff out, how long it'll take for a character to get to a certain point. If you got to, extend it, pause it, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, Catgirl Studios. Yeah, I heard about Blender being innovative and consider playing with it. Yeah, it's a steep learning curve just because when you open it up, as we all know, any program that you open up that you're brand new to, you don't know anything, and you're kind of I'm lost. What do I do? And there's so much to Blender, but at least they've made the interface a little bit more easy to interact with now. So if you have experience with any kind of 2D software, it does have just a literal button. You click on it and it'll set it up as a 2D drawing platform. But again, you have to learn the language of that program. And that's something I'm still having a little bit of trouble with because, I have no idea about the 3D world. I did a little bit of 3D back in the day, but nothing to it's useless knowledge now at this point. See Corey Barton. That's cool. Didn't know illustrators use Blender too. Yeah, man. There's a couple tutorials out there that are really freaking cool because you can do this thing called paint projecting or photo projecting, and you can project your drawing onto a 3D object, and it'll give you that ability to move around it in 3D wherever that quote unquote paint has landed on. So if you're doing buildings or characters or stuff like that, you actually don't have to model it in 3D. You just have to do a 3D plane where you can project your actual drawing onto that thing. So tons and tons of cool stuff. Yeah, I try to keep my eyes and ears open to like just new things in the industry that are going down. Even when I was working in animation, I would talk to people and ask them like, "Oh man, have you seen all the cool shit that Blender's doing?" And this is when I realized like everyone just has their head down and nose to the grindstone. Nobody's actually looking at stuff, because even guys that I worked with that have been in it for years and years and years, they're just like, "No, what's this Blender?" I was like, this is going to be on everybody's like meal ticket here in the next couple of years, because A, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. Everything you make on it, the company owns. And I guarantee within the next 5-10 years, a lot of companies are going to be jumping over to it because they don't want to be paying these gigantic licenses out to 3D software companies per computer, So for them, it's a good cost-effective way. So there's going to be a bit of learning curve, but that's with anything. Another thing that I learned being in the animation industry is the companies are very, very beholden to their pipeline, though. So if they have a pipeline that is set in motion, they will run that thing until the wheels fall off before adapting to new technology. Because, they've already invested so much money into it that they're just like, why would we change now, kind of a thing. But and also, it's in play. It saves them money. Whenever you got to learn something, it'll cost money to learn it. But I don't know. I think in the next couple of years, Blender's going to be doing a bunch of big time stuff that is going to be taking everyone by storm. We got Tank Ferret. Looking at 3D objects here, or 3D jobs in Los Angeles. Got a lot of open source software is a must. Blender, Game, Inkscape. Yeah, exactly. Because it's coming right back down to that thing of a lot of studios. Like, as much as everyone knows that Photoshop and Adobe is like the industry standard, not every place likes paying that monthly or yearly subscription per computer. I'm just going to check Twitter here quickly, see if anybody wants to pop on, shill their stuff. Because, this is a Draw Shill. And if anybody wants to pop on, just hit me up and I can send you the link. And you can come on and talk about your project, provided that it is either live on Indiegogo, in demand, or you have a mailing list ready to drop, or that has already dropped. And we'll be going for another hour here. Unless the conversation gets going. But yeah, I can fucking blab about fucking Clip Studio and Blender all day, even though I know, jack shit about it. But I'll give you guys a little sneak peek of some of the animation that I'm working on here for, let's see, Caius issue 2. Okay, I'm back. What did I miss? Let's see, you missed me. Maybe you left when I was talking about tattooing penises, and all that fun stuff. Not me tattooing them. A buddy of mine. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, this is the half. I can show you guys this. All right, and that's the little half teaser I got for some of the animation that I'm working on. Let's see what we got here. Sketchbook. See, what do you think about Sketchbook Pro? I never really used it. Sketchbook Pro. Which one is that? That is, if that's what I'm thinking, I think it's free now. It used to be by Autodesk. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the animation companies that I worked for, that was like the standard piece of software that we use for doing the storyboards. Just because it was super simple, well laid out, tons of stuff that you can do with it. But it was just like the file format specifically that the company liked for some reason. For the program itself was actually really good. I would say drawing wise, it also feels nicer than Photoshop. And there's also a pretty big free library of different brushes that you can use. The perspective tools in it are pretty good. The accuracy on them, depending on what size that you're using your canvas, the DPI, I found that one kind of iffy. But if you get it in that sweet spot and you're doing it for like concept sketching, it's pretty awesome. The 1, 2, and 3 point perspective grid is it's just well laid out. Just the accuracy of it. If you're trying to do something fine line, I found it kind of gets a little jumpy, I guess would be the word. Kecker Studios animation looks amazing. Oh, thanks. I'm pulling out every dirty trick in the book that I know of to get it how I want it to look. It is still from Autodesk, and yes, it's free. It is it's a foundation for other programs. Yeah. It draws really, really good, and just like anything, as long as it does what you want it to do, that's the important thing. Yeah, when it first came out, I remember using it and really liking it. But then, Photoshop being Photoshop, it just, overtook everything. And especially for tattooing, there were things that Photoshop enabled me to do a lot quicker, especially when it got clients coming in and you got to, draw the tattoo, snap a photo of them, put the tattoo on them, do color adjustments. That was stuff that I was doing literally like 14 years ago, 15 years ago. Well before now where the industry standard is everybody's using Photoshop and an iPad. So, and it just helps the client have a bit of mental ease when you're drawing up a tattoo and it's all said and done and, you have a finished picture. This is one thing that I think of a lot of us forget as artists and as creatives. We forget that other people actually can't visualize things. Like they legit cannot talk about the stuff where like if I talk to you and say, oh, do you see what I'm going for? Another artist will be like, yeah, I see what you're going for. Somebody else who's like, I don't know, an accountant, they'll be like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. So being able to bring in a photo of them, putting the tattoo on them, superimposing it, doing the color adjustments, that does so much more where they can bridge the mental gap between, telling them how it's going to look and showing them how it's going to look. Let's see, sketchbook here. I was told by a professional digital artist that Photoshop is not actual art, great for painting. Corel outdoes it only because Photoshop is used in image manipulation. Well, the bottom line with all this stuff is whatever you're using is to push pixels around, like that's whatever it is to make the thing that you want to do and have at the end of it. That's the goal. That's one thing with tattooing that taught me is it's fucking, so you can pour your heart and soul into this like beautiful pencil drawing, it took you 80 hours to do. That's great and all, but that doesn't mean anything to the client. At the end, that client wants something, and that thing that they want from me is a tattoo. They don't care about the process on how you got there. What they care about is how good their finished product is going to look on them. So the whole not real art thing, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Tell that to the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people making a living off their art digitally. But I will say Corel Painter is an absolutely fantastic program if you have the computer that can run it smoothly. The blend brushes on that run a little bit differently than the way Photoshop does. I didn't know this. A friend of mine, he's a concept artist, and he worked with a guy that kind of got like Photoshop sent to him while they were doing all the beta testing. And every time, like, he would be like, hey, can you do something about the blend brushes, you know, taking forever to blend? And apparently, again, this is hearsay through the grapevine, me to you, so I don't know how much of it is actually legit. When Photoshop uses the blend brush, it actually calculates all the pixels on your canvas, both vertically and horizontally, to blend it. So that's why it takes so long. And if you have a bigger file, you know, that's why it slows down so much, is because it actually has to calculate every pixel for the blend, as where every other blend tool for every other art program, it only focuses on the area and the surrounding area adjacent to those pixels. So that's one of the reasons why Corel Painter is so nice to paint and draw in and feel so nice, is because it doesn't have to slow down and calculate every single pixel. Let's see. Do you ever just freehand a tattoo? I've done. Let me think. Okay, yeah. This is okay. I'll tell you a story. Oh yeah. I'll bring you on here, Tank. Just gotta get the thing. See. Bam. So yeah, I'll tell you a little story. This is a super funny one. So it was a buddy of mine's 30th birthday. I was out drinking at a bar, just having fun after work. Bump into him. Haven't seen him in, oh my God, at this time I think it was like a good solid year and a half. And he's married, had a kid, so he's pretty much locked up with that life. And then so I see him like, holy crap, Corey, what are you doing here? And he's like, man, I got out for the night. And it's like, oh, but the old lady let you loose? And he's like, yeah. And so we're like, all right, let's throw down, let's party. He's like, yeah, it's my birthday too. I'm like, oh crap, it's gonna get nasty tonight. I sure hope I can talk better than I type. I usually said the same thing. Photoshop doesn't understand. Yeah. Let's see if we got Tank in the back room here. Add to the stream. Welcome, Tank Ferret.
Thank you, sir. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Just about to talk about the story where I tattooed some freehand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, so, that sounds like a suspenseful story.
Well, the thing with the story is, it was me, my coworker Joel at the time, and we were already like drunk as hell at this point. And so we end up meeting our buddy Corey, who is also drinking, his 30th birthday. So we all just start, going hard.
Uh-huh.
And so my tattoo shop that I used to own back at the time was literally like 2 blocks away. And so my buddy Corey goes like, hey man, do you want to tattoo me right now? I'm like, dude, I am wasted. Like, I do not want to tattoo you. And he goes, well, I'll pay you. And I was like, dude, I don't want to tattoo you drunk. And so he pulls out this wad of cash, and I was like, I'll book you in like 2 weeks from now. He's like, and then he puts the wad of cash in front of me. I was like, all right, we'll go to the shop. We'll do it, but I'm doing it left-handed. By the way, I'm not left-handed. And that was the only way that I was going to agree to do this thing drunk. So he goes like, all right, I'm in. So we go over, and so we end up going there and tattooing him. And I end up tattooing the words "Dirty 30" above his knee. And I'm like, fucking, like, it's super weird. When you, like, you probably know this, when you do something so much that it just becomes autopilot, and no matter how drunk or like high or whatever you are, when you do that thing, it sobers up. And then as soon as you're done that thing, it all just basically goes back to how shit-faced you were.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's exactly what happened. So my buddy Joel, he's laughing. He's just like, man, you're gonna bomb this so hard. And the script was like this, like funky fiend creature kind of font. So just, I was like, oh, sweet, I can screw this up and I'm going to be fine because it already looks jaggedy. This is awesome. So set everything up, tattoo him, and I go over to Joel and I'm like, hey, Joel, come check this out. And he's like, oh, let me look at this. He looks at it. It's like so good. And he just looks at me. He's like, you son of a bitch. And I was like, what? And he's like, fuck, hate your guts. Because he was expecting me to like be all over the place with it. I was like, not bad for my first left-handed tattoo.
Oh, that's great, man.
But how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm getting ready for the show over on my channel later tonight.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we're gonna. Looks like we're still gonna be using StreamYard, at least for this show, and then for the next drawing shows, we'll be switching over to Discord for our hangout. I've been. My daughter has deboomerized me on this.
Okay.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, this is why pro streamers use Discord. It's just what you can do with it is just absolutely incredible.
So all the transitions, stuff like that, you're still able to use, or
I'm able to run it through what do you call that? Through OBS.
Oh, okay, you are able to do that. Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, there's even an OBS plugin for Discord, which makes it even easier.
Gotta like that.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude, now that's what I'm going to be using. Because I've been setting up a Discord, and I paid with the with profits I made from doing my comic and my art stuff.
I thought you were going to say selling your body on the streets, but
maybe a little bit of that too.
Maybe a little bit of that.
We just don't discuss that in front of the kids.
Oh, okay.
What does Daddy do for a living?
He works hard for his money. So hard for the money.
For real. I reinvested that. This last year, I had a lot of clients. Not so much right now. They're really like the business climate for small businesses is very uncertain. So they're not willing to spend money right now. But I made money last year and I reinvested it. I got myself a new drawing rig. And I set up I paid for Nitro on Discord. So that way I can have chat rooms with up to 25 people just chatting it up at the same time.
In other words, pure mayhem.
Yeah, you're creating an absolute wonderful space for people to come hang out, share their stuff, talk. If they want to talk industry talk, we've got a space for that. If they want to talk fan talk, we got a space for that. So, and it's, people have probably seen on my Twitter that I laid out a couple of pretty vague and glib statements like, man, setting up a Discord is really hard. And it's like, man, because I go look at these top Discords, I go look at these top streamers, I go try to reverse engineer what was their successful action, what did they do to get all these people in there. Now, how do they reach out to a larger audience? And it's a lot of different things. It's a lot of different things that are going on.
Yeah, I had a Discord for a while. It's kind of like as dead as it's going to be because I'm just like, man, I cannot have yet another social thing that I'm attached to because I barely have enough to do, with the stuff that I already have.
Right.
Sketchbook here. So you're the tattoo version of Rob Willis? I guess so. New drawing rig. Do tell tank. I want specs.
Oh, it's a Ryzen 9 3900 Pro with a NVIDIA GTX, or what is it? It's an RTX or whatever. I can't see the thing. It's a 2070 Super. That's what I know.
Oh, nice.
And 64 gigs of RAM. I need that RAM. It makes working on giant pictures like this picture I'm working on right now is 3 feet by 4 feet at 300 DPI.
Oh my God.
So, I this is me like putting together the giant size poster, the wall scrolls, man, or as they sometimes refer to them, hanging canvases. but you'll get mixed results if you search for that.
Yeah. I know exactly what you end up with.
I like wall scrolls. I'm gonna tell you guys, as a consumer, I am not interested in your posters, because posters have to be framed. They're delicate. They're easily ruined. Like one crinkle, even with the best poster paper, one crinkle and it's over. That thing does not look right ever again. But a wall scroll, man, I could crinkle it up, throw it in the corner, and if it gets wrinkly, I just steam it real quick and it's fine. And the print quality is great, especially it's for a poster, you know. I still get they still print at upwards of 300 DPI on wall scrolls.
Oh yeah.
So I love that stuff, and that's what I'm gearing. I'm kind of practicing for. I'm doing a big CG collage.
Nice.
Where I want to. And right now I'm drawing like company man. I'm trying to like decide on some poses and whatnot. For these characters, I don't have all their names, but hopefully I will have Kimosabe on tonight, and he'll be talking about his awesome project that is launching soon. It's in Sign Up, and I want to get you on so we can add the Caius characters to this, because that's what I'm going to be doing here. Like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to be working on this picture. Thursdays, we're going to be showcasing and talking about the primary subject, and I want to get other artists on to draw those characters as well. Not a contest or anything like that. It's a trash talking hangout where there's no pressure. There's
just the pressure of winning.
Well, you know, the only pressure there is being entertaining for the audience. You know, that's it. Like, just draw at your own pace. Draw a picture. It'll be a 3-hour program, not 2 hours. So people can, you know, jump out, go check out another show, go to the bathroom, whatever they want. But I'm warning you, if you do that, then you might miss out on some of the funny memes and jokes that we'll be spitting out too. So just saying.
Well, that's the thing when you have one of those streams, man. It's always luck of the draw at who shows up and what's being said at any moment.
Yeah, well, I'm carefully orchestrating this. I'm trying to get I'm getting not trying, but I am getting like people that are good artists. They're a lot of fun to have on the air. They range anywhere from pro level to fan art. You know, we get them on. We get them on, fans and creators alike, and we talk about like some of the various things that might go into the sausage making of campaigns, but mostly jokes and dirty memes.
Oh yeah, gotta like that. Let's see, we got Sketchbook here. Oh, the Rob Willis comment, Ryan, was because Donald DeLay always says he makes other artists look bad. Oh, okay, I get you. No, this was just like me getting lucky, being drunk, tattooing somebody left-handed. Let's see, we're listening to Rick stream Tank with Dillard and myself. That is almost the same concept I shot at Dillard. Oh, okay. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you gotta keep it fun. You gotta keep it entertaining, because, you know, like we're talking over on the Twatter today, the subject of the new. I don't know if y'all have seen this, and if you haven't, consider yourself blessed. The promo shots for the new Aquaman cartoon.
You know what? That's funny that you bring that up, because I've been thinking about that for a good chunk of today. And I had Jose Garcia on yesterday, and he's worked for DreamWorks. He's worked for, you know, a lot of the big companies out there, and he's kind of, you know, he's done that style. He can do that style. And he brought up something where he tried to come into CG literally 2 years ago when it was at his like most volatile, you know, and basically got pushed out because they're like, get your CalArt shit out of here. That's kind of the approach that people came at him, but they didn't actually see the wealth of knowledge that this fucking dude has, man. Like, his ability to storytell is really good. It just so happens that he's got a very cartoony style, you know?
Yeah. And it's, you know, there's the style that I would like to see, I don't know, I kind of see it as more of the Gravity Falls style. Steven Universe kind of copied off of Gravity Falls and went even more simplistic. But I was talking with Sierra Whiskey and just laying out, like, look, you know, whether you like these shows or not, there's a reason why they have staying power, and that's because they have character advancement. They have character growth. There's development there. These characters at the end of the series are not the same as they were in the beginning. This is a testament to
storytelling,
especially to your audience. Like I am not the demographic for Steven Universe, but people love it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason. And that's because little Steven, he makes his mistakes. He learns from them. He grows as a character. The other side characters grow. It's more akin to an anime in its storytelling than it is in to American. Now, I bring up this picture right here I've got on the screen right now. This is a promo shot from the Aquabats, right? It's simplistic, it's noodly, it's cartoony, but it works. It's got good silhouetting. Like, you could take any of these characters and silhouette them. It's got nice kinetics. It's got fun little exaggerations, you know, that caricatureness.
This has more of a John K vibe to me, though.
Right? It does have kind of a John K vibe, and that totally fits the Aquabats, you know. For kids, but totally not for kids.
Yeah.
But totally for kids. Something that the parents can enjoy watching while the kids watch it. Like here on YouTube, the Aquabats have a channel. They have the Aquabats Super Show. You know, I think you can also buy it on Amazon, which I recommend, because it's a great show for kids. It's stupid, it's silly, but it's got a moral of the day. It's like, you know, back in the 80s when morals had to be included in cartoons in order to get that sweet government funding.
Yeah, or to get around that weird loophole of toys selling animation and animation selling toys. It was like that was such a weird loophole, and what was it? He-Man just literally took that law, flipped it 180 degrees, and was like, "Can we do it now?" And they're like, apparently, yeah, you can. And then thus the 80s cartoon toy boom was born.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so, you know, there's something to be said about a simplistic art style, like The Simpsons. People don't even look at The Simpsons as a simplistic art style, but it totally is.
Yeah, and it took a long time to get to where it's at now. I will honestly say, I do not like the way that it looks now in comparison to even like, I'd say like 7 or 8 years ago.
It feels homogenized. The way it looks now.
I will tell you what it is. It's you now have people coming in that are animating using high-end animation tools that have gotten rid of fundamentals of animation. When characters move, it is, you see the individual pieces of the character moving. It's not the character animated. It is you're moving the literal how can I put it? Like the literal folders around. Oh, that's his arm. That arm has to like move from here to here. Like that's what it is. They're not actually animating it. So things like smears, stretches, stuff like that. You're not seeing that anymore. And there is a definitive disconnect with that stuff.
Oh, I agree. And that's an astute observation there.
Let's see. We got Catgirl Studios says that sounds fun. We got Sketchbook talking about. I haven't seen that. Are they that bad? I assume talking about the Aquaman cartoons. It just looks like your atypical quote unquote Cal art style.
Oh, it's even lazier. Like it's lazier than Thundercats Roar, and I didn't think that was possible.
The Thundercats Roar is definitely more what it looks like. Let's see. Catgirl Studios says glad they brought back morals to animated shows. Really miss that. The robot rules of animation must be fluid key. Yeah, like it's this because it's something that I've been observing, and because now I'm doing a little bit of animation, I'm starting to see things that like, oh, they're only doing that because it actually in production costs less. Like that is why they do it. A little secret to everyone: if production finds out a way to cheat something, that gives them more time and therefore more money in the pockets of the people producing it, they're going to choose that every single time. The only time that they're not going to do that is if the end result is so good that it demands to be done, quote unquote, traditionally.
Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people poo-pooed Frog Princess from Disney. I loved it. I felt it like that was some of the I loved the organic feel of the characters. They felt alive.
Well, they had to literally bring back everybody that was still alive that knew how to 2D animate for that one, because they're like, oh, let's start animating. And they realized everyone that was working on it didn't know what they were doing, because they started getting the tests back and they're like, this looks awful. Why is this so bad? And then nobody had like a foundation in traditional 2D animation. It's not that they didn't. It's just like when you have the old masters literally being sent out to pasture because their pay rate is so high, you have this information gap that has now happened between the generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's people are afraid of hard work. They want the easy way, and it's like, well, no. I mean, work smart, not hard, but
yeah,
work smart and hard, and you'll get yourself something groundbreaking, like the Appleseed movie when it first came out. I mean, that was the first CG movie that used facial motion capture. And if you watch it in Japanese with the subtitles on, dude, that lip syncing,
night and day.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I can't watch it in English. I'm like, oh, I just want to have it on in the background, but I can't.
So we got Sketchbook saying here, DBZ Super has the same issue according to some old school fans. Let's see, don't care for Frog Princess, but the old school design is awesome. I will say this about the Dragon Ball Super. Now, part of the issue with the animation that came out during that time frame is a lot of it wasn't done in-house. Apparently, it got sent overseas. That's why those first episodes look so freaking horrible. But when you get into the later episodes, like the final arc of the tournament, the Universal tournament, like, goddamn, it looks fucking good. Like you can tell where budget was spent and where budget was cut as you get along with stuff. You can definitely see they're just like, all right, we're going to save up all of our money for the tournament arc, and that's where it'll be spent.
Well, like the Bleach, the Eisen saga. If you knock out all the filler, and yes, sometimes the filler goes by timestamp in an episode if you go to the filler list. But if you knock out all the filler, you watch this show that went with a minimum budget in the first couple of chapters, to having, by the time it leads up to the crescendo of the storyline, the big fights, the invasion of the Earth and all this other stuff. And I'm not spoiling anything for nobody.
No,
dude, that animation was just so damn sweet. Some of the best fantasy fight scenes I have ever seen. If you knock out the time filler stuff, like something that needs a Kai edit, like Dragon Ball Kai, it got an edit, dude. Bleach, that would be gangbusters, money on a hockey stick. Are you listening, Shonen Jump?
Oh, they know, man. They know. They're fully aware, because especially with Tiny Kubo coming back and wrapping up Bleach, because apparently they're doing the actual final season.
Yeah. So
you know that they're going to put something together, because
wow. Oh, so he buckled, did he? Because I remember no spoilers for the audience, but the story does come to a definitive end. Yeah. And then they brought him back, and he's like, dude, there's no more story. The story's over. They're like, dude, we're going to throw money at you. He's like, okay.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. But I also think because he also did Burn the Witch, which takes place in the same universe.
Ooh.
And I think that's kind of what's going on. I think he's trying to, like, stir up enough, like, hey man, we're going to wrap up Bleach here, but Burn the Witch is also happening, and imagine it's literally Bleach but with witches and in London.
Oh, dude, I love that world, man. Oh yeah, no, I want more. Gimme.
Yeah, and I think they obviously realize like over time, part of the issue is having a conflicting editor with Kubo's ability to do whatever he's going to doing, because unfortunately his character writing isn't top notch.
No, it's really not.
And his story development needs stuff to work on, but his strength is character design and the actual drawing. Like, if he teamed up with somebody that he was allowed to loosen up a little bit of the control with the story, who knows what's going to happen. And I think maybe that's what they kind of got to with Burn the Witch, at least for the anime. So who knows what's down the pipe for that, because
I might check that one out.
Yeah, because what's happening right now in Shonen is they're kind of burning out of what they have. Like, so many series have wrapped up in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
You have their number one killer right now, which is Demon Slayer. It's done. It's finished.
Yeah.
But the anime is still going. And that's how they're, getting so much sales. Like 82 million copies sold last year. 82 million copies. Like, literally, screw you, Marvel, DC, until the end of time, because we just sold that in a very, very short time frame. You can't compete with that. Like, you literally cannot compete with that. And they have figured out the way to do the workaround. Whatever that they're doing in the anime is bringing more than enough people back to the paper product. Because some people bitch and complain like, oh, the movies don't help. It's like, they would if you had the same characters. They would if you had the same story beats. They would if you actually tied them in somehow, or simply made them accessible. And that's the other thing. You know it. I know it. Current books are not accessible. They're tough to get to. If you don't have a comic book shop in your area, you're either downloading it. And if you are downloading it, you don't know where to hop in on. You don't know what's going on. As where you hop in on a manga, it's like, oh, number 1, cool. What comes after that? Oh, number 2.
Yeah, the original Appleseed. Yeah, the 2D animation, the one that is Appleseed in concept only. I was a pretty hardcore manga reader at the time when you could get if you could get your hands on translated manga. Jeez, man. I liked it. That was how I got introduced to Appleseed, was that old school 2D animation, but the 3D animation ones are they're so dang good. Such good story. Really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, Appleseed was one of the ones that I kind of missed out. There's kind of like the classic trinity of Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed, what was it? Patlabor Police was kind of in there too, at least in the old Blockbuster, aka Japanimation section.
Yeah.
Something that I'm super stoked to get my hands on is Liam's book coming out here, Xenotype. That it's all shipped out and just waiting for it to pop into the mail here at some point. Hopefully, because Canada Post. Oh my God. Will it make it here? But I did see somebody did, who was it? Somebody did a review on it. And I think there is a disconnect with the Western comic book reader and the manga style of creating stories. And I think that's some of the issues that he might be running into with some of the review.
Well, I mean, one of the things that manga has over other, what do you call it? Other styles is
story formats. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, story formats. Thank you. Is there's actual storytelling taking place. There's character development. These characters.
Yep.
They grow and they learn, and villains become, good, or they become even more evil. They become even more justified in their stuff. Characters learn and grow. Yes, they're the same person, but they'll never be the same, you know?
Yeah, and it's a tricky style of storytelling, especially when you come from a standardized Western comic book. You know, you're so used to having your beginning, middle, end every issue. Oh, if it's a story arc, it's 3 issues, 4 issues, or 5 issues.
Yeah.
That's the mentality of it. So you're kind of force fed this streamlined version of storytelling, and that's what everyone kind of falls into. And when you hop over to manga, things take time. Things you develop. And that's the difference, is where you as a reader are willing to sit and how you want to consume it. Because some people will read, like a 200-page manga, and it's a fight scene. Like if you pull out One Punch Man, like it's literally the whole thing's a fucking fight scene half the time. But to me, I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Oh my god, this is fucking amazing. But to someone else, be like, it was one fight scene, and they didn't even finish. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I've run into that myself, because Scalpel Zero is very much written like a manga, and so it's like, geez, man, in order to get your standard American comic audience to get into on this, I'm gonna have to put out a lot of pages, because there's a solid setup there. There's a world to be built.
Yep.
And there's people to get to know. And that is a bit of a challenge,
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We got Sketchbook saying Xenotype reminds me of those knockoff Chinese toys at the flea markets. Ninja Robot Warrior, One Punch, and over 10,000 screams.
Oh goodness, that's brutal.
I can't say anything because I haven't read it yet. So. But I know the aesthetic of what's going on. Also having on Jose Garcia yesterday, he was talking about how he's laying his stuff out, and it's very, very manga style format, which is very interesting because he has that very cartoony style. But because I know what he's going for and what he's stoked on, I know what the read is going to be like. But for people coming that don't know that, it might take them for a loop,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, I don't know, comic storytelling has gotten dull over the years.
I will pinpoint exactly why, because I've been thinking about this quite a bit. And because when I was talking with Jose about this, he was talking again, like he just enjoys that form of storytelling so much more. And I equated it to, especially now when you're reading, Sketchbook says DBZ, not Xenotype. Oh, okay, yeah. When you're reading a Western comic book, it feels like you're observing an event. It feels like you're now watching TV. When you're reading a manga, it feels like you're there with the character while the event is happening.
Yeah.
And I can pinpoint how and why they made that choice. And it stems back to the early 2000s when they decided to take away thought bubbles and narrative speaking. Because you are now literally watching a TV show, and because TV doesn't have quote unquote narrative or narration or inner thought speech, they got rid of it in the comic books. And what that does as a reader, that pushes you further away from the characters.
Yeah. You don't get to get in their heads. I mean, it's one thing to tell a story. One of the things I loved about the Deadpool comics, and I don't like Marvel. I am definitively anti-Marvel.
Hey, Black Rose, what's going on? Welcome to the stream.
Hey, old Black Rose. I liked the Deadpool stuff because you got into his head. It was Deadpool telling you a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I was a part of it.
Yep.
Because he breaks the fourth wall. He's talking to the audience. He's telling somebody a story. And I love it. And yeah, you get into the heads of him, and you get the thought bubbles from the other characters. And the great thing about the thought bubbles from the other characters is that's what Deadpool thinks they think.
Yeah, it's not them thinking that. He's thinking what they're thinking, but they're not thinking that.
And it made it fun. Like, this was good. This was a story told to the reader from the perspective, very personally. Like, as if you guys are sitting at a bar and he's like, oh boy, have I got a story for you.
Yep. And as a reader, guess what happened? That character became very, very popular. Why? Because you were allowed into that character. This is something that they've completely destroyed with a lot of their stuff by getting away from that type of storytelling. When I was briefly on with Andy Smith over on Edwin Acevedo's channel, Andy brought up something very, very, like it stuck with me. And he's talking about how back in the day, you'd have this narration and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, when you would have this kind of like 30% you would spend with the alter ego, or no, the actual, Peter Parker. And then the other 70% you would spend with Spider-Man. And there was that payoff. And when he brought that up, I was like, wait a minute, I used to read Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And I started thinking about it. It's like, there's a reason why it was called Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, because that particular book always had what Peter was doing more than what Spider-Man was doing. Mm-hmm. So you would actually show him going into work. You would show him and his interactions with the coworkers and stuff like that. And for some reason, as a kid, I was like, I don't know why I keep buying this, but I like it. Because you'd always have the Amazing Spider-Man, and those are all the Amazing Spider-Man adventures. But then this would be that little slice of life, essentially, that made the fantastic stuff more fantastic, because you got to see him going to work and arguing with his coworkers and stuff like that, whilst trying to fight off like Mexican twin werewolves at night.
Yeah, right.
Andy Smith, first man creator. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Like, and then he had to go deal with his girlfriend because, he's out saving the world. And yeah, Mary Jane, that's one of the things that made her awesome was that, yeah, she was understanding, but she was like, dude, we got a thing going on here. Like, if you're going to be in a relationship, you got to dedicate some time to it. You can't be always out saving the world.
Yep.
Sometimes you can't save everything. Spider-Man was a great lesson. It's like, yeah, no, you can't save everybody.
Yeah. But it counteracted with his whole, but I have the chance to do what I can, that
right. Oh, so good.
Yeah. And they've gotten away from a lot of that stuff, they, again, this comes back to a certain aspect of things I've been ruminating on. And this has to do with the, how can I put this? The forced advancement of childhood into adulthood.
Oh God. Yeah. That's a great way of putting that.
Because the stories that they're trying to tell are layering on aspects of quote unquote growing up and taking away the fantastic, because you have these people who are now telling these stories that literally have forgotten what it's like to be a kid and things that got you excited as a kid. They're writing things that get them excited as an adult. And that's not the same. That's not the same adventure that you're supposed to be on. They've lost that connection to things that are fantastic when you are young. Those are the foundations of what make you a person. So by them telling these stories to people that are young, they're kind of eroding the childhood and forcing kids to grow up mentally beforehand. And I think that's pretty insidious.
I agree. Kids need to enjoy their childhood. It doesn't last very long.
No, that's it. Like with my kid, I told him that's like, man, you have until high school's over. You got a little bit of leeway after that, but real life kicks in, and it doesn't mean that everything's over. It's just you now have other things to do. You have a little bit more responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sketchbook says they also don't have dynamic storytelling. They tell very bad versions of soaps.
Yeah, for real.
They like doing character-based stories, but only hit bullet points instead of story-affecting character. Exactly. And the character affect the story. Yep. Let's see. Look, you said that. I don't know what I said. Literally describes cartoons like Steven Universe. Yes, that is the thing. It is the stripping of the actual fantastic, the stripping away of what makes something unreal and forcing a reality onto it is, I think, one of the most insidious forms of storytelling going on right now. The forcing of adults bullshit onto kids. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
With a rusty chainsaw.
Completely.
Running.
Yeah. And as all things, people always believe that it's for the good, you know?
Oh, for the greater good. Go look at 40K. It's like for the greater good does not necessarily mean a good thing.
No, not at all, especially in 40K.
Like the Tau are a race of enslavers and cultural erasers, and who likes to play the Tau the most? Lefties, mostly. Look at these guys. They're so great. Oh yeah, no, the 40K fan base is like poor Arch Warhammer, man. How dare he have an opinion outside of the mainstream?
Yeah, 40K is one of those ones that I never did get into, but I know that the people that are into it are deeply into it.
Yeah. No, and there's a reason why. It is the most abysmal and bleak outlook of humanity, and it's everything wrong with us as a people, like everything. And anybody who praises any part of that game, I'm like, or I should say that story. You can praise the game, but you're praising the story. It's like, I think you're kind of missing the point here.
Yeah, they're trying to say something, and I don't think you're getting it.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. I like this one. And I don't like that arm. That's right. I'll fix it.
Yeah, that's looking dope, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, really digging the way that you got your the way that the suit is looking.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like the little like cutouts, like that's the cutout highlights and stuff like that. That's badass.
Yeah, it's a great character design. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here. I've got it on another monitor for work purposes. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get it reattached. Give it. Does it? No, I reattached it in the wrong place.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hold on. I did it again. There we go.
Once, twice, three times a lady.
I don't know the name of this guy yet. Because Kimosabe hasn't put out, he's been signed up for his mailing list. He's been putting out like fun little dossiers and stuff like that. So I don't know this guy's name yet, but he is pretty cool. I love the Helix incorporation of the fire stuff. Like it's really good.
It's got a nice blend of it feels like a bit of Firestorm and Ghost Rider.
Right? Like this guy is like the Infernal. I'm like, man, this is really cool. It's kind of like that nuclear, like that internal glow that accents the skeleton through the suit, but you still see the details of his costume coming through.
Well, the golden rule, if there's something that I learned from tattooing, is when in doubt, put a skull on it, and it makes it badass. Like it doesn't matter what it is. It's like, oh, you want some roses? Do you want a skull on that? It'll be real badass. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, it would be badass.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I love the character designs for this, and I'm getting like way into it. I'm excited. I usually don't get into the team books too much. Like I got, I wasn't able to afford it earlier, but now that when I was able to afford it, I went and got the 3 volumes of Graveyard Shift. I'm looking forward to that. That seems like a fun book.
Mm-hmm.
People are talking good things about it, and I'm not usually into team books. I feel like, in a lot of team books, the characters don't get enough attention and growth.
Let's see what Sketchbook has to say here. I know this is going to sting, but it is my opinion. This seems to stem from a lot of female-led comics and shows, because I think back to your youth, women mature far earlier than men. Also, men tend to connect better with their youth, which is why, for the most part, these fields were led by men, and they are the exception for some women, but not the rule. Okay.
No, that's absolutely true. Women generally do mature earlier. Girls mature earlier than boys do. I have 6 kids. I have a good sample group to look at this from.
You got a nice spectrum literally developing in front of you.
I do, and I see the difference in maturities and the willingness to take responsibility. And I think it and you know, I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I honestly think it comes from the fact that one day when they grow up, they're gonna have to be responsible mothers.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, put away your dumb shit.
Yeah. And
boys are like, nah, I'm gonna be over here doing dumb shit. Watch me jump over this thing with my bicycle.
And you know, that's like, hey, somebody's got to be the responsible one, right? We joke about that, but no, I think it really stems from that. Yeah, you know, the women have to take responsibility at a younger age. They get real life slaps them right in the baby maker, literally.
Yep.
And there's no getting around it. And if there's something wrong physically, it's even worse. So it's wake up. You're going to have to adult someday. And guys, we have to enforce that upon the boys. This is why boys need male figures. They need men.
But at the exact same time, they also have to be shown that taking risks is okay. Putting yourself in a little bit of danger is all right. This whole risk aversion and danger aversion, I think, is going to be more detrimental in the very, very short and definitely long term to everyone. Because this whole coddled society, guess what happens when you have a nation that is very soft? If you have nations that are next door that are not soft, they will just mush right through you. That's just how history has shown it every single time. The second that any country or nation gets quote unquote weaker than the neighbor, we all know what happens.
Yeah, throughout history.
Like, thank goodness North America is essentially landlocked or ocean locked, essentially, because you have oceans on both sides. You know, it's not like Europe where everything's connected. And if somebody wants to march over, they're just going to march over.
For real.
Yeah, like, trust me, I'm pretty sure Canada ain't going to do shit to the United States. Trust me on that one.
No, thank goodness they're weak. The Trudeau, right? Otherwise, America could be conquered in the next few days.
We'd kill you with kindness. That's how we'd do it.
Oh, no. See, America learned not to mess with Canada very early in its history. See, we came into Ottawa and kicked the crap out of everybody there. And then our idiot general said, all right, I'm done. I'm going home.
It's like you weren't done the job. Get back up.
So the Canadian regulars came down and burned down the White House. I joke you not, that they torched the place. Said, oh, you're gonna mess with a couple of insignificant villages, eh?
Oh, we'll come right to you, don't you know?
We'll come right to you, don't you know? And burn down your own home, eh?
Stay where you're at. I'll come where you're to there.
Nothing but a bunch of Yankee Hoosers, eh? Never underestimate Canada. Don't do it, folks. Go look at the war records that the Commonwealth of Canada has been involved in. There's some badass motherfuckers. I'm just saying.
I always get a kick whenever there's like the war games, and like Canada shows up. Everyone kind of goes like, "Ah, shit," because they're like, they have the worst equipment, but they know how to use every single ounce of it effectively.
Oh yeah, definitely. Canada has people underestimate Canada, but it's like, dude, out of all the countries that participate in the Sullivan Games, which is the Tanker Olympics, all right, these are the big. This is when all the best tank crews from around the world get together. Canada is usually in the top 5.
Yeah, we got what 4 tanks? I think
yeah, like and they bring like all 4 of their tanks. I was dang it, man. I was gonna say they bring the whole platoon.
Dude, one of our biggest jokes used to be Canada has what is it, the 5th largest naval fleet in the world, and half of it resides in West Edmonton Mall.
Oh, dude, that's great.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know out there, West Edmonton Mall used to be one of the biggest malls in the planet, and you actually had these little submarines that would go through the waterways that were laid out inside the mall, and you could take like little tours underneath there. And apparently there is a 2-scale version of the Santa Maria that is also inside the mall.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a strange place. Like it's so 80s. Like that's the only way I can put it. It still has like gigantic arcades, which is awesome.
That's really cool.
But you just got to watch out for all the machete stabbings that happen every now and then. You know, just got to keep an eye out for that.
Well, you know,
as you do.
You know, that's generally like, you know, good advice for anybody just going to Canada.
Yeah. Anywhere in the world, actually, watch out for machetes.
Canada likes doing things the hard way so much that they don't slice you with a machete; they'll stab you with it. Yeah,
I don't even want to slice you. I want to just put this in you. For those of you that don't know, go check out this one Twitter handle called ScanBC, and all it is police scans that are put on Twitter from BC. And sure, there's not a lot of gun violence up here, but there's a lot of stabbings that happen. A lot of stabbings.
It's almost as if humans will just resort to anything to accomplish their violent means when they have the mindset to it.
It's so strange. Yeah. That's so strange.
So weird.
But one of the other things that you can always see on ScanBC is almost within, I would say, you know, maybe like a good 5 or 6 scrolls of you going through the timeline. You're going to find somebody that is like found somebody either naked or with their pants around their ankles passed out in the lower downtown east side of Vancouver. Like without fail, it's going to happen at some point.
It's so like Vancouver's your Florida, huh?
Parts of it. Like we have an area here called Surrey, and generally known that's where the majority of the gang violence is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where a lot of the stabbings come from.
Okay.
But just like all places, it has its area and its strip. It's just like, you know, where are you from? And if somebody says the particular area and they're like, oh shit, how is it? And it's like, oh, you know, gunfire the other night, you know.
Yeah, that's generally how it goes.
Yeah. Everywhere has their Florida for sure.
It does.
Let's see. We got sketchbook saying here. Let's see. Hard times create strong men. Yeah, and weak men create hard times or some junk. Yeah. That vicious cycle.
That is a maxim for living on planet Earth.
Yep. Let's see. That was because we kicked all their ancestors up in the cold, the British and the French and the natives, and the mix of them have it coming. I say, let's go. I'm game. Well, let's put it this way. You're all getting dealt the polar vortex. That's what we have to deal with every winter.
Yep. Well, even more so since China's a terraforming factory.
You know what? I've been thinking about this, is how much of this is weather influence, because we both know that Russia and China and the US and Britain all have weather manipulation capabilities. So how much of this do you think is just possibly Russia affecting the ionosphere, pushing the jet stream way down, creating a polar vortex at this point in time.
Well, yeah, no, well, China's manufacturing capability, especially with people ordering all their nice stuff off of Amazon, most stuff's made in China.
Mhm.
Climatologists refer to China as a terraforming factory. Like, this is something that you're not going to get in your mainstream news, is that climatologists aren't leaning on Europe and the United States and most of the developed world for getting into being more environmentally friendly. They're leaning on countries like India, Malaysia, China, that don't have good environmental, and they're destroying their environment. Like,
oh yeah, like rampantly.
it's so terrible.
But that's the unfortunate side effect of having so many people in such an area.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a classic damned if you do, damned if you don't,
Well, and China's been poorly managed for a few hundred years now. There were dynasties that did properly manage the resources of China, but did not properly manage the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's most unfortunate. Because, geez, I think some of those old dynasties and stuff would be a lot more environmentally friendly than CCP China.
Yeah, but there's a different goal, that's the thing. There's a completely different goal of the mindset, and that is, quote unquote, to win at any cost.
Yes.
And when you have that mindset and it is amplified, it is very, very tough to say no when you are getting the results they're getting.
Yeah.
Like, it's I can't remember who it was. You probably saw it. It was the Russian guy, that interview in 1982. He came over and he talked about a bunch of stuff about how, the soft sell of socialism, it'll take 3 generations, but he's like, it's well underway.
Yeah.
Anton, I can't remember his name, but that interview was absolutely terrifying.
I agree, and he was right.
Like, you see that interview, that was 1982. Anybody that can put any kind of thread together, that can look at one thing and see another thing, if you watch that and you just look over a timeline, everything that he said has come to pass. Literally, verbatim, and in the order it has.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we got here. Fly over Aussie. They don't want to miss this. I'm Hispanic. Machetes don't scare me. So you guys are like Japan, no guns, but people getting shanked daily. There's guns here. Yeah, there's definitely guns here, but it's just heavily regulated. Let's see. I use Latin countries as a test. Yeah. They definitely did.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff on the grand stage. That we, as people doodling away here, are just like, fuck, buy my book, buy my book while you can.
Yeah, I really, I don't look forward to, and it's so funny, man. It's just so ridiculous that the double standards and whatnot. Like, people compare it to McCarthy era. I'm like, yeah, but McCarthy era didn't let people get away with such double standards.
Hell no. McCarthy would have been like, oh, okay, you're that. We're going to lock you up right now. Like, it's simple as that.
Yeah, no, your career is over.
Yeah.
All right.
What time? I was going to ask you, what time does your show start?
It starts at 9 p.m. Pacific, 5 a.m. Universal time.
Alrighty. Universal time.
Yeah. No, I do that because that's funny. It throws people off a little bit. And I really shouldn't be doing that if I'm trying to advertise a show, but
no, you shouldn't.
all for the sake of comedy. I like to. My wife and I like to joke that my last words are going to be, "But I thought it was funny."
Oh man, you want to hear some funny last words?
Mm-hmm.
So, my buddy, I told the story earlier. He was raised by orangutans. His grandfather, on his dying fucking on his deathbed, because he used to be an old World War II tank guy.
Okay.
And they basically handpicked him because they're like, look, we see the path you're going down and you're going to end up in jail. So we're going to make you a deal. We're going to send you out to the battlefield and you're going to learn how to be a soldier. And you're going to like it because we're going to give you all the things that you would never have access to. And you can do whatever you want. And he was like, oh, I could run amok, And so that's what he did. He went, became a fucking tank dude, ran amok, and apparently might have got his hands on some kind of gold bullion somehow during all this World War II brouhaha.
Holy moly.
Came back to Canada, built his house, and from what my buddy said, the house was always just like a mystery. Like there were secret compartments everywhere, like little passageways in the house, like just weird shit all over the place. And on his dying fucking deathbed, his last words is that he giggled, went, you guys still haven't found the gold, and then died.
That's beautiful.
And the thing is, they don't know if there was gold or is gold or if he was fucking with them, because he's the kind of guy that would do that. He would be the one to say it on his deathbed, you haven't found the gold yet,
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. So it's that's like, and to this day they have no idea.
That's just beautiful.
Let's see. Sketchbook says, wait, I lost my subscription to Conspiracy Monthly. How can I manipulate the weather? Yeah, join here regularly. You'll find out. Let's see. They were warned by a former New Zealander. They said the biggest push was with the Clintons and Obama. That's why they want Trump gone, because of racism. Again, anybody who's been paying attention to this stuff, like I do my best to pull out and get the widest view I can. I don't like being where, in the middle of the left, the right, all this kind of stuff. It's like, no, pull further back, keep pulling back. All right, there's the big picture. What's really going on? It's just like, oh, if I can see that and I'm as dumb as I am, I hope everyone else can see this.
For real. For absolute real. All right, I think that's a good base sketch for that guy. I'm still just kind of roughing stuff, and I think I like it. That's all right. What do you guys think? Here, let me
man.
a little bit.
Yeah, I'm liking the way that's looking.
I really want to capture. I mean, the concept art is just beautiful. I love it. I love the implied action and stuff like that, and I'm gonna have to work on that myself. It's one of the reasons why I pulled my project while it was in pre-launch. Was I was like, no, this isn't ready to come out of the oven yet. I it just needs a little bit more work, and first impressions are everything, man. First impressions are everything.
Don't tell people who bought my book that, because things are coming down the pipeline that are going to be taking turns.
Well, dude, your book looked absolutely fantastic. I loved it. I love I love manga, for one. So I am a bit biased. I will just put that out there as a disclaimer. But I love the use of the Japanese perspective, the bending of lines. And there's a great video, and we'll have to do something on that for the Digital Dojo sometime. But there's this, it's like, don't draw your straight lines. Don't, when you're trying to like infer motion in a scene, don't draw straight lines. That horizon is an arc. The perspective lines leading to your vanishing points, they're arcs.
Yep.
And if you do this, and you have to have a decent ability to visualize simple geometric lines, and that will allow you to put your complex designs into the proper perspective. Dude, that stuff just comes out so amazing. Stretch it, squish it, blur it.
Yep.
You know, what is being observed? Like, I've got this one fight scene in the Scalpel Zero book that's viewed from two different points of view. The one is the viewpoint of the combatants. And yeah, there's some blur, there's some stretching, there's some squishing and whatnot. And then there's the view of the guy who's not augmented, who's just a regular old man who sees the same fight scene that previously took 11 pages to get done.
Mm-hmm.
His perspective of that fight scene is 1 page.
Yeah, because that's how it looks from an onlooker.
And it is just like, it's one of those old school like flash fight scenes where you just like in the same frame, you've got only bits of a character showing.
Yeah.
And it's like jumping around all the place, like a Dragon Ball Z manga.
Well, anybody who's been in a situation where you know that time slows down, I think that's one of the other things that manga does really, really good is in those moments, people who have been in those moments understand that when you are throwing that punch, the things that are rattling around in your brain at the speed of thought, like just that stuff happens. Yeah. You know, like you are paying attention to like where their feet are and all this kind of like, you look like Madara in the scene where he pops out and his eyeballs are going all over the place, observing the whole battlefield. Like that happens in that split second. So manga, when you have that scene and it happens like that, yes, for them, it's moving in that slow stretch of time. But for somebody looking at it, it's like done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the storytelling in the outside perspective of that fight scene is done by repeating the same sound effects that I used in the how the combatants saw it portion of that fight scene.
Yeah.
And it really does. It clogs the page. The background is removed in a lot of places, in the foreground in some places. Like piecing together that page has been so frustrating. But I think everyone's going to be very, very happy with it because it really communicates. Like you can go back and go, oh, okay. So in panel 3, those were the sound effects. I can go look back and go, oh, holy smokes. Panel 3 was pages 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah. Yeah, because you'll be able to pinpoint when things happened from that other perspective, and you'll be like, "Oh, that was fast. That was really fast." Yeah,
and then it's over. Like that fight scene, it speeds up. You know, we squish, stretch, blur, and then bring it to an abrupt halt because when it's over, it's over. Like my favorite Star Wars fight scene is from Rebels. I haven't even fully seen the series yet, but my favorite fight scene is from Star Wars Rebels. It's my favorite Star Wars fight scene of all time. It's the final fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul. And Akira Kurosawa would be proud.
Yep.
It was so gorgeous.
I remember that a lot of people, when that happened, they were pissed.
Mm-hmm.
But the explanation for it is just like, yeah, these are two old masters going at it for the last time.
Yeah. One mistake by one of them is going to be the end of the fight. And it doesn't even have to be a mistake. It just has to be not moment. Good enough.
Yeah, it has to be that moment, you know, and that's exactly what it was. Because he went for the same move that killed Qui-Gon, and it's just like, no, that's not going to work on him.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like seriously, man. At that point, my mind filled in bad lip syncing. And of course, you see, I am stronger. You know, like, holy moly, dude, it was so damn good.
I see your skills have grown since the last time, but so have mine.
Oh, Scene 38 remake. Oh,
so good. Oh, so good.
Oh, it's like, dude, Lucasfilm, just throw money at that person, buy that IP off of them, you know, buy the rights for it, redo it, using your awesome technology that you guys invent half the time. And please edit that into the movie because that's completes the storytelling. It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, they did such a good job on that.
Mm. And I looked at stuff like that. I looked at stuff like Astartes for good action storytelling. Like there are people that are bringing it, and they're not in Hollywood these days.
Nope, because a lot of people are starting to realize, like, you go to Hollywood to collect a paycheck. That's what you're there for. Collect a paycheck and make a name. And if you want to use it for that, there are certain hills to climb. Let's put it that way, to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, and Sketchbook brings up a great thing. It's the subtlety in storytelling as well. It's the showing you that everything you've seen up until that point was not wasted, because it came to fruition in that scene. He says, not to mention Obi was just focusing on training with Force Ghost Qui-Gon, and he just exploited Maul's anger, and it's so good.
Yep.
Like fangasm. It's that good.
It's too bad they fucking keep shooting themselves in the goddamn foot and face simultaneously at every turn.
For real, how do you do that?
It's mind-boggling. It is utterly mind-boggling. It's like you just gain back so much goodwill, and then for whatever political posturing, you do what they just did and completely removed it. They completely got rid of it. I honestly think and believe that Kathleen Kennedy, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, she must want to destroy it, because this is insane.
And the sad thing is no, they're not trying to destroy it. They're trying to reinvent it, because they have this ego, this hubris, that somehow their idea is so much better than an intellectual property that has endured for generation or longer.
Being exactly what it was.
Yeah. For all the good and the bad of it. I mean, it's like, people think that, we're griping about the new Star Wars and stuff. It's like, dude, you don't think we didn't gripe about the originals? We didn't have any upsets with them?
If there's one thing that Star Wars fans will do, is bitch about Star Wars. No matter when.
For real, man. Go back in history and go look at some of the articles that were written about Star Wars, dude. Freddie Mercury of Queen fame, he hated Star Wars.
Yeah, he literally put it in the song.
Yeah, he hated it so much, he put it in a hit song. He wanted people to know, dude, Star Wars sucks.
And again, here's back to that thing I was talking about. It's the fantastic that they don't like.
No, they need everything to be serious and depressing, and it's like, dude, even when stuff is serious and depressing, like you go look at the movie Road to Perdition. You want to talk about serious and depressing?
Is that Viggo Mortensen?
No, that is gosh dang it, I'm totally blanking on his name. Robert Duvall.
Oh, okay.
Oscar winning movie, and it's about this priest he's lost his faith, dude. But it's not preaching at you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a very pro-Christian movie, but it's not preaching at you. You're experiencing this person's crisis of faith. The fact that they're not a righteous man, that they're human. And that's something that these people don't get. They're not human. They live in a fantasy world of ideals. And their ideals sometimes aren't bad. Like, I believe in equality for everybody, regardless of what it is. I don't give a shit. Humans are equal to humans. Pure and simple. But these folks, they want a turn, as my co-developer, El Jefe Bonito likes to say, these people don't want justice. They want to turn at being the oppressor. They want to be the bully now because that is what justifies their quote unquote suffering, whether real or imagined.
Well, as we both know, anybody given the opportunity who has ambition in any form at any point, who seizes any shred of power, will always abuse it.
Yes.
And the key in that lays within the ambition. Because it's under that ambition that gives them the guise of doing something right with that quote unquote power, no matter what it is. Perfect example of this is because of like all the movies that are going on right now here in Vancouver, they have COVID officers that are on duty. And these are just people that applied for the job.
Oh, like American TSA.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, these are people not qualified to work at Burger King.
Yep.
But apparently they're qualified to make sure you're being safe.
Exactly. So now you have, in the exact same scenario as TSA, you have these COVID officers that are literally can kill an entire movie set if they want to at any point in time. Any point in time. For whatever quote unquote infraction that they deem. And you think that they're not like drunk with power?
For real.
Like the friend of mine, he actually is pulled away from working on the movie sets because he was kind of like, am I going nuts? Am I taking crazy pills here? I'm like, no, you're fine, man. You're fine. You just need to get out of it. And the way that it works, they get tested twice a day. They get tested before they get there. They have to wait for the test results to come back. And then when they come back, then they're allowed to go into the actual designated area and they don't leave there. Like that's just the way that they work. Actor comes in, does her job, and then I think it's midway through the day they get another test, depending on the department or whoever production it is. And as soon as that one is good to go, they're like, all right, we can work a full day. But you still have this officer there who's screaming at everyone, you know, being like 6 feet apart. It's like, dude, everybody's just been tested. Everybody's just been cleared. We're good. You know, we're good for the day. You can calm the fuck down. Your job is literally over right now. Go.
Besides, by the time you detect the person who has a concentration of the virus in their body enough, it's already too late for everybody who's been in contact with them. You've been exposed.
Right. Yep.
That's simple virology. That is like simple virology. One of the consultants that I have, the scientific consultants that I have for my project, is a PhD geneticist.
He's probably
not even a PhD. He's a doctorate geneticist who does now. He does. He was working on cures for cancer and stuff, but now he's gone. He's making money, so he can make enough money to retire off of, so that he can do cancer research for the rest of his life and actually have a meal in his belly every day.
Yeah.
So he does patent reviews. Biopatents.
Okay.
So he has to get really into the science of it, and in order to do his evaluative write-up,
yeah,
whether or not this deserves a biological patent or not. And we talked about viruses, bacteria, RNA, DNA. We talk about like all this topogenetics and other stuff that the reader doesn't have to put up with, because I break it down Barney style for fun. But, you super nerds, just read the computer screens in the background. There's plenty of information for you. And we talked about how virus progression happens. How does the pathology of a virus work?
Careful, you're starting to speak logic and science.
Well, I would like to quote America Uncovered and say it's complicated. And yeah, there's the naysayers who go, "Oh, masks are BS," and it's like, no, they're not. They keep others from catching what you have.
Yeah, that's the design. But the mental jump is people think I won't get it because I'm wearing it. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. It's not this works.
That's harmful information.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to get it, then cover up. And when you get home, you have to go through a decontamination procedure. You have to have a dirty area, an in-between room where you get sprayed down with disinfectant. Then you got to take off the clothes that you were wearing outside and put them in the hamper immediately and keep them separate from everything else. When you wash them in your washing machine, after you load them in, you wipe down your washing machine with at least 70% isopropyl alcohol, not ethyl alcohol. If you're going to use ethyl alcohol, it has to be at least 80%.
Because you have to deal with the evaporation rate. This is why you don't use 99%, because it evaporates far too quick for it to do its job.
That's right. That's right. And if you're going to use 99%, you're going to have to cut it with something else, like water.
Yeah, just so you're gonna doesn't evaporate as quick. Yeah. Trust me, doing tattoos, I know all about this shit.
Right? You understand this because you have to prevent. This is one thing a lot of people understand. Tattoo shops are these are experts on how to prevent the transmission of disease. Their lives depend on it.
Yep. When we got when everything got shut down and got opened up again, we got our guidelines. I read them over and I was like, why did you even stop us? Like, we do all of this above and beyond. The only difference now is that we have to wear masks. And here's the kicker. The majority of people, almost all were wearing masks anyway, because guess what? You don't want to have your spit going into somebody's tattoo accidentally, while you're talking.
No, because then you get an infection, and then the ink doesn't take properly, and the person can get sick, and.
Yep. It really brings down to, we just don't want to do any more work once it's all done. We don't want that. It's like,
yeah, for real, man.
Yeah.
No, actually go to your nation's Center for Disease Control website. They break it down. The media, the mainstream media, completely and the tinfoil media both completely read the information how they want to read it, not in its plain language. Like, there's a reason why these websites are written in simple language, and that is for your benefit.
Yep.
That's so that you can be educated on the basics of a subject and apply it. And you know what, dude, we have people in my household, and we have older people. We have people with pre-existing health conditions, and we have maintained CDC guidelines. We have taken reasonable precaution, and no one in this household has gotten the coof. We've gotten plenty of other viruses, but it's just, be sane about it and don't be scared. If you're scared, I'm going to tell you, as a martial artist, if you are scared, even for an instant, that is when you are taken down. That is when you lose the fight.
Yep.
You have to be proactive. You have to be at cause.
Yep. That is the biggest programming going on right now, is just the fear mongering, and you take all the evidence, you put it together, and here's the thing: is this happening? Yes, it is happening.
Yeah,
but you have to look at it as, well, how come this wasn't a big hubbub a couple of years ago, when literally you had SARS go on, it became a thing, but it got locked down so quick. I think that was just like phase 1. They were testing, just being like, can we let this out? No. Yep. Oh, okay. And then it went away just as quick as it spiked up.
Yeah,
because apparently, it happened really bad here in Toronto, in Canada. That was like one of the hot spots, and everyone was freaking out about it. And the other spot was in Thailand, apparently. And guess what the difference was between the two? The difference was the hospital that got it. The hospitals that were infected in Toronto is because the air circulation system was passing it around. It was going through the air ducts, and that's why it was running rampant. the HEPA filters they were using weren't adequate enough to actually capture it. Guess what the Thailand hospitals had that this one didn't?
What?
Open windows. Open windows literally was the only difference. They're just like, yeah, this is like a ramshackle hospital and everyone's got, the SARS. And what did they do? They opened the windows for fresh air. And that disrupted it enough because the particle count, all that kind of stuff, like it wasn't being funneled into every single breathing apparatus that everyone had connected to the room. There's like, yeah, fresh air dispersed it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's these people, they don't get it. They're trying to rewrite stuff,
Well, it's and I know this is all vie for power.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is an excuse to, as politicians like to say, and, some people like to get partisan on who says it. I'm like, no. Like politicians like to say, never waste a good crisis.
That's right. Oh, hold on. Get my... Hey, Dexter. Hey. Let's see what Sketch is saying here. His escaper skills were far better than Maul's at the point. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
It is not that it's better, but runner because it takes away from the social issues with the original. Everything to deprogram us away from social inaccuracies. Yeah, it's just, again, pull yourself away. Look at the bigger picture. When you think you have a bigger picture, keep pulling further and further away. And don't go nuts with it either, because and I know if you start looking into the hole, it starts looking back. That void, that abyss.
Yep. Just peek in there, know what it is, and move on. You have more important things to do with your day.
That's right.
You have a society to move forward with your endeavors, no matter what they may be, whether you're serving fries or teaching the next generation of leaders. It does. You play a vital part in how things operate here on planet Earth. Just focus on that. Do the best you can at that. If you're the best fry flipper in the world, dude,
flip them fries.
Hell yes. Rock out with your blank out.
Dexter, seriously, find a spot.
I love that your cat's name. I love your cat's name.
Yeah, we'll just see what kind of stuff he does here.
My favorite lantern, by the way.
Oh, okay, Dexter.
Yeah. No, I've had to resist the urge to name any cat. I've had that.
When it looks back, I poke it in the eyes. When the abyss looks back, poke it in the eyes.
Dude, that's beautiful. That needs to be memed. I don't know exactly what meme one would use for that, but yes, please. That needs to be memed.
Yeah, definitely some Cthulhuan action there.
That's right. Like a sharp stick in Cthulhu's eyeball or something like that.
It's just right in front of my keyboard, hey? Just right in front of everything. Of course you are. Of course, Dexter. That's what makes them happy. Being in the middle of whatever it is you're doing.
Yes. I need attention too.
Yeah.
And my dog does that all the time, man. Like when when I go in and I spend time with the kids and I'm picking them up and, patting them on the back or something like that. He's like, I want to be pet too. I'm like, dog, chill,
yeah.
Dog. It's like, but I've been here longer.
Yeah. My cat's pretty funny. He, like, if it's me and my kid were having a conversation, he gets like, what are you doing talking without me? And like forces himself into the middle while we're having a conversation. Like he'll start meowing and like circling around. He just wants to be part of it,
Dude, yeah, no, that stuff's great, man.
Yeah.
Animals, you're awesome. There's a reason why we have pets, and it's not just for their utilitous purposes.
No.
Although I do make sure that the animals do understand and fulfill their utilitous purposes.
Yeah, Dexter, what do you do? Nothing.
Like, well,
that's right.
It's like there's that one time that Mouse got in the kitchen.
No.
I showed him what good.
No, if there was something moving around, he'd probably just look at it and be like, screw it. We'll get out of there.
So he pulls a Garfield, huh?
Totally. Yeah, he's got zero interest in anything. All right. Actually, what time is it here?
It is
5:30 Universal time.
5:30. What is that? At 8 hours. That's what time it is. Yeah, it's 1 a.m.
Somewhere
in London.
Yeah, somewhere in the world. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for popping by, Tank. Let everybody know where they can find you at and what you got going on tonight.
Tonight, I've got Kimo Sabi's Company Men on a drawing hangout, trash talking kind of shindig. We're gonna have all sorts of fun characters over there. The guest list is not finalized, but we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. And you can find me via my link tree. So you go to linktr.ee/tankferretart, linktree/tankferretart, and you can find everything there, including my merch store. Buy my merch.
Get that merch. And everybody can find me on all my social media, The Ryan Cardinal, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all that stuff. And if you haven't yet, please do me a huge, huge favor and sign up for the mailing list for Caius, issue 1 and 2, which is going to be launching probably at the end of May. That's what I'm aiming for, provided I get the animation done. And if you want a preview of the book, first 16 pages of issue 1, link is in the description below. You can go check that out. Get a little bit of a preview of what's going on there, see some of the shit that's going on when I got the book. And other than that, I'll be back next week or in any other streams that will have me. Going to be doing the Creative Native podcast or Creative Native interviews. That will be coming up next week. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up.
Roger that.
All right. Everybody out there, have a good one.
Long ago, before the earth was formed and the heart of our sun was forged in the crucible of the cosmos, in a realm where might, magic, and high adventure reign supreme, let me tell you the tale of a lone rider who is being hunted down. Her cargo is the key to her freedom and to her damnation. She blazes a trail across a foreign land and hopes that she will lose her pursuers in the crystal labyrinth known as the Dragon Mouth Pass. The ripple effect of this moment cascades into a chain of events that will echo throughout the lives of all in the realm, especially a teenage boy named Nitto.